Chapter 6 ended with Soren vowing to train with his new master, Oz. But as we saw in Chapter 5, as Soren was holding his dead girlfriend's hand, amongst all the commotion of Michael fighting the giant demon in the city, Soren saw Rush sprinting somewhere. And in this chapter, we're gonna figure out what's going on with Rush. So we dive right back to that day and that hour to get Rush's perspective on Doomsday, what happened to him while Soren was trying to defend his girlfriend. And as he's sprinting, there's a very ominous, shadowy figure atop a rooftop staring down at him. So we see that Rush is actually running towards a hospital, and that's when Soren glances over his shoulder and sees that Rush is running by. Now Rush is primarily focused directly on the hospital, and he doesn't even see Soren because of the commotion that's going on. There's explosions going off in the city, people are running terrified and screaming, and he's just trying to get to his mom to make sure she's okay. But right then, Michael gets slammed down into a building, creating a thunderous shockwave, catching Rush off guard, and that's when a demon appears right behind Rush. Now Rush is just a regular human. What can he possibly do? The first thought that comes to mind is run like hell. No pun intended. So this type of demon seems to be one of the smaller types. We saw them eating humans in chapter 2 and 3. The demon takes a swing at Rush, who's able to dodge it, but the claw cuts off some of his jacket. So he takes off sprinting, and the demon turns around and immediately chases after Rush. And we know that Rush is an outstanding soccer player. He definitely is athletic and has speed, but this thing is catching up to him like it's nothing. Rush saying, I've broken records for sprinting and this thing is catching up on me. Rush increases his pace and he comes to a clearing where a truck is speeding by. And that's when Rush thinks to himself, this is my chance. He leaps in front of the truck, just barely missing it, and the demon leaps after him, getting completely smashed by this 18-wheel truck. Blood oozing out everywhere. Rush just pulled off a great bait and switch. The demon, after getting hit by the truck, slams into a wall, and Rush thinks that's probably the end of it as he lands down on the ground. But the demon begins to twitch, blood dripping from its jaw as it starts to gather itself and get back up. Rush thinking to himself, this thing survived getting hit by a truck? He doesn't know what it is, he just knows that it's coming for him and it looks hungry. So he takes off again. This time he sees a construction area nearby, thinking that he can lose the demon in the construction area. But this demon, as you can see from this picture, has incredible speed and just simply does not give up. Rush hides behind a wall and observes his surroundings, noticing an electrical fence. And that's when the demon comes through the construction area, sniffing around, smelling for him. Rush, observing his surroundings, looking for a potential out, finds a soda can on the ground. He kicks the soda can towards the electrical fence, getting the attention of the demon, who jumps after it. Maybe if getting hit by a truck doesn't faze this thing, an electrical fence will. We can shock it to death. So Rush jumps up and he grabs a pipe on the roof where he can brace himself, swing and kick the demon directly into the electrical fence in front of it, electrocuting and frying it like barbecue. The demon falls to the ground, smoking from being electrocuted and hit by a truck, but it still does not give up. Rush begins to stomp on its head over and over. Why won't you just die? And with a final stomp, he smashes the demon's head into the ground, blood squirting out all over the place. Interestingly, the demon's body begins to smoke, but it still doesn't give up. It grabs Rush's ankle, and Rush picks up a pipe from the ground, taking one final overhand smash to finally kill this demon. Rush, breathing heavily, is trying to wrap his head around what this thing is and what just happened. But the demon explodes, it starts to disintegrate, and all of this dust comes out, Rush accidentally inhaling some of it. As it enters his bloodstream, veins pop out of his skin. This is a feeling that he has never experienced before. So if you remember chapter 1, when he defeated Adriel, he breathed in all of Adriel's Imperium and grew large muscles and had similar veins popping out of him. So what's the deal with breathing in Imperium of enemies you've defeated? The shadowy figure on top of the building who was observing Rush is impressed, saying that he was able to quickly assess the situation, utilize the surroundings to his advantage, and deal a finishing blow against a far more powerful enemy. Magnificent. Rush coughing out this Imperium dust, asking, what the heck is this? And the demon just disintegrates completely and vaporizes. Where did it go? Did it go back to hell? Is it just erased from existence altogether? But that's when 3 more demons appear behind Rush. And if he struggled that much with just 1, 3 is impossible. That's when Rush hears clapping, and he turns around to see the shadowy figure walking towards him, telling him that he has potential. And as you can see, this shadowy figure is dressed in very intricate, dark and evil robes, and also has a staff similar to that of Oz, Soren's master. Additionally, you can note that the demons do not attack Rush or this shadowy figure. They seem to have paused in his presence. Rush asking him, "Who are you and what do you want?" "I'm Karner," he says. "You're coming with me to hell," as he gives an incredibly sadistic face. Hell, Rush thinks. So these things are demons? I mean, Rush doesn't know what they are, or it could have been a biological warfare attack or some sort of mutant or something like that, but he just pretty much got confirmation that these things are actually demons. He looks over and sees that this is the hospital where his mom is, so we get information as to where he was going. He was going to check on his mom. Luckily, the hospital didn't get destroyed by the explosion earlier of Michael and Algolga fighting. He assesses the situation again, and he understands that there's no way he could escape 3 demons to get to his mom, so he asks Karner, "What happens if I refuse?" And the look on Karner's face is terrifying. That is a look of pure disapproval. And he says, if you refuse, the Hellspawn will eat you alive. So we know that they eat humans, but we didn't know what they were called, and now we also have confirmation of that. The name of these kind of weaker demons are Hellspawn. Rush understands that he doesn't really have any choice, to which Karner replies, "Come with me or die, that is your choice." He gets down on one knee and places his hand on the ground, and you see the mark of the beast is on this shadowy figure, the same mark that Rush had in chapter 1. He speaks a spell, Porta ad limbo, and raises his hand, to which a pentagram forms on the ground. Rush stares in complete amazement at what he's witnessing. Dark energy emanates from the surrounding area and rocks begin to lift up. A hole forms in the ground and Karner sinks in. Now this is important for 2 reasons. One, we saw that Oz in the previous chapter, chapter 6, he said that Holy Knights can travel basically by turning into a lightning bolt and shooting out anywhere else on Earth. And he said if you ever encounter a member of the occult, someone that can travel to hell at will, run. They're extremely powerful. And so now we're seeing that both sides have their own methods of traveling, and that Rush has encountered an entity, one of those that Oz warned about. What you are about to witness, he says, few mortals have laid eyes upon. Rush gazes down as this stairwell into hell begins to form, and Karner sinks in. Hesitantly, Rush begins to descend the steps into hell. It's either that or get eaten alive by demons. He really doesn't have much options here. Now, as he's walking down these steps made of floating rocks, he can see that the atmosphere is something supernatural, and he has a terrifying feeling in his gut as he follows this demonic figure deeper and deeper into the depths. What is this place? Rush asks. There are 9 floors to hell, Karner says. The first floor is lust, then gluttony, then greed, sloth, wrath, envy, heresy, violence, and finally, treachery. I think you can guess which floor Lucifer is on. This dimensional space, however, is the space between worlds, Limbo. You could consider it Floor Zero. They reach the bottom of the steps, and a dark door awaits them, seemingly with nothing behind it, simply floating in limbo. Karner cracks open the door and tells Rush that this is where his real test begins, meaning that his challenge against the demon was simply nothing compared to what is coming. Will this door lead into the first floor of hell? Is there an opponent behind it? Find out next time on Demon Rush Chapter 8. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to tell your friends about Demon Rush, forward them this video, or point them to where they can read the manga. And don't forget, because I own the copyright, you are free to share images and video, do fan art, and anything you want with Demon Rush. Let's get this story popular.